Hey guys, Anthony here with Pro Dealer Secrets. Today's video we're going to talk about risk versus profit and how to minimize risk and how to maximize profit, which is two very important things because while it is good to make big profits, you don't want to do so and take too big of a risk to make a profit. And I'll show you what I mean. So here's what we cover: minimizing risk and maximizing profit. The less you spend, the less you lose. Lower cost equals higher profit margin. Small to medium advances and avoiding large setbacks. Knowing your dump number. And operate where others aren't willing. So, back on the topic of minimizing risk and maximizing profit. Now, it may seem kind of obvious, but the less you spend, the less you can lose. Now, I'll give you an example. You're buying a $1,000 car, $1,500. We can only lose so much, and that car is not going to go to zero, so you can't lose all your money. Now, if you were to spend, let's say $5,000 to $10,000 on a vehicle, you would have a lot more to lose because, one, if you do buy a $5,000 car with, let's just say like a bad engine, it's going to be worth like $1,000 or $2,000. So now you have lost, upwards of like $3,000 versus if you were to buy a car for $1,500 and the engine was bad or the transmission was bad, you wouldn't really have far to go to fall. You could probably still sell it for $1,000 to $700 and not have like a game-changing loss that sets you back. Now if you go spending $10,000 plus, you got even more risk. Now for a lot of you guys that are beginners, I don't recommend trying to go out and spend that $5,000 or $10,000 to make what you'll think is a big profit, because a lower cost means that you are making more profit per dollar, because ultimately you want to maximize every dollar that you have into profit. And if you buy a $1,000 car and you sell it for $2,000, that's a 100% profit, and obviously that's a big deal. My number right here is wrong. So it says 50%. Right there, it should be 100%. So even making $1,500 on spending $1,000 is 50% profit. But now if you go out and spend $10,000 just to make $1,000, it's not really worth it because it's only 10%. And what you could do with $10,000 instead is buy 8 to 10 cars that make $500 to $1,000 each, and now you're making $4,000 to $5,000 instead of that $1,000 on just $10,000 initial investment. And I may have lost some of you there with the math, but we'll go through the trusty whiteboard here, and let's just say we have 10,000 total. No, let's just say 5,000 cash in our pocket, like to invest. So on one hand, we buy a $5,000 car, we sell it for $6,000. It takes about 30 days. Let's just say 25 days. But over here, we buy 5 cars at $1,000 each. And we sell each one for, let's just say $1,500 for easy numbers. Each one sells within 10 days because, that's actually a long time frame for a cheap car like that if it's pretty nice. So 5 times 500 equals 2,500. And, the same exact amount of money. It's just buying cheaper cars yields more profit and higher volume. Let me give you an example, a real life example. This is our sales report, and I haven't really walked you guys through this yet, but let me you'll see this a few times. Let me give you some familiarity with it. So, we've got our average price per car and our average cost. Now, this one's a little bit skewed because we had a couple $20,000 vehicles in here, like a Land Cruiser. And, oh yeah, this 2012 Mustang GT. Now, if you do want to make some bank, and this deal will come up occasionally where we can spend $8,000 to make $14,000 back, it was a $5,000 profit. But you see here where we track our profit margins. We always try to be between 20 to 30%. And on this one, we were at 35%, which is amazing. That deal comes around once in a year, not very often. But here, we kind of go down and show our goal is 30% on a vehicle. And it doesn't happen very much in January, but once we started really getting into it in February, here our average sales price was $4,000. Our average cost was $3,000. We sold 71 cars and made, $900 per car. That's not bad. And every now and then, you'll get lucky and buy a $1,200, $1,500 car that you can sell for $4,000, and those are good to have occasionally. But if you look down our profits, a majority are between $500 to $1,000, and we cut our losses pretty quick, and we don't make money in every car. In fact, we're going to talk about that in this course, the 80-20 rule. Now, we had a good month in February because, we had a lot of good deals, a lot of good cheap cars that we stocked up on in December and just waited until February because when tax time gets crazy, prices go up. But March is more of what a normal, typical month would be, our average sales price. And this is for the last 3 years, our average sales price is $4,000 and our average cost is $3,000. Like it's clockwork. Pay 3, sell for 4. Pay 3, sell for 4. Just over and over and over. And sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but that's what it averages out to. And you see here, we just had just a whole bunch of just good average deals, a few pretty good deals sprinkled in for a little bit of icing on the cake, and we take our losses as fast as possible. They take up space, and you got to dump them and move on. You can't dwell on them. Now, here was one that I was kind of mentioning earlier. We were talking about the more you spend, the more risk you have. Well, we spent $4,000 on this 08 BMW 530, and it had bad turbos, which is it's like a $6,000 job to do those. So obviously, we took a $2,000 hit because we spent $4,000 and only got $25 at the auction. And added expense, the added expenses here that you see, those are like repairs, transport, auction fees, stuff like that gets added on. But you see, we take our losses as fast as possible and sell the good ones. So you take $300, $600, $700, $800 losses, you follow them up by 2, 2, and 16, and it's just getting rid of those and selling the good cars. And then here in May, we've had some losses here as well, but taking our good deals and moving on. Yesterday we just sold an 07 Ram Mega Cab, and that was a good deal because we spent 12 on it and sold it for 17. Now, like I said, these are once a month, every month, but at my experience level now, I can look for those deals because I know exactly what I'm looking for. So that's a little, example of how we minimize our risk and maximize our profit, because you saw all those losses that were anywhere from $200 to $600 to $700 losses, but all the profits were $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, and $1,200. So we're not getting the big $1,200 losses and the $1,200 profits. At the price that I buy these cars at, I make sure that I can't lose more than what I could profit. So the risk outweighs, or the reward outweighs the risk. Now also, as you see, cheap cars sell faster. And that's just true with, with anything cheaper, really. it's going to sell faster because more people have that much money. Now, I've noticed when it comes to people, they have a hard time saving more than $4,000 or $5,000. And a lot of people, when they get that much money, they want to spend it. They're looking for something to buy, and a lot of times people get like like a work bonus, and insurance check from a vehicle getting wrecked. Obviously tax returns are in that price range. $3,000 to $5,000 on average, and that's why we keep our prices between $3,000 to $5,000, because a lot of people have that much cash. But from $5,000 to $10,000, not a lot of people have cash, and over $10,000, most people either have to finance or go through their bank, and it's a long process to sell those cars because not a lot of people are just going to show up and drop money on the table. Now, when you're selling cars between $1,000 to $4,000, you won't have any shortage of people. And I get a lot of misconceptions where people think, wow, there's no way that many people have cash. How are you selling 50, 60 a month? There's no way that many people have cash. Well, they do. But if I was selling cars like other dealers are between 5 to 10, 15,000, not that many people have cash. And understand that the more cars you sell, the more experience that you are building. If you're only selling one car a month and making $1,000 each, that's 12 a year, versus a guy that's selling 5 or 10 a month and he's making 500 a piece. He's gaining very valuable knowledge. And after a year or two of high volume sales, you're going to start to develop your own style and touch, and you'll start to have kind of a list of things that you say that you've found that have worked, but you use them over and over, and you kind of develop a flow. Like, you're in control. When you're at a deal and you're selling a car, you are very in control. You're very sure of yourself and confident, which helps in a large way when you're selling a vehicle. But it also brings a confidence when you're looking at vehicles. I know for me, when I go to the auction now, I'm in the zone and I know everything that's going on. I've got a feel for the whole entire process without even thinking. For a period of 3 to 4 hours at the auction, I'm just laser focused, zoomed in, and I can feel everything that's going on with all the vehicles, the auction lanes, the pace, because I've done it so much. And it's kind of similar to an athlete being in the zone, within a game. And that's kind of how I look at it, is that's my game. And at first, of course, my first auctions for the first few years were not that case. But you need to build that experience, and you need to be practicing even if you're not buying. That's why at the very beginning, in the resource, the 3 things that matter, you want to focus on those. You want to know your market inside and out. Always be inspecting vehicles and make offers. And even if you're just inspecting vehicles for the fun of it, sure, you can waste some people's time, but I'd encourage, if you don't feel like doing that and just don't really have time to constantly be looking at cars that much, maybe get in a membership to like Copart or IAA, and just go out there and look at cars all day. Just go out there and get familiar with them, open them up. I think Copart, you can start them, so learn what to listen for. Just get that. You need that experience. It's going to pay off huge, and not just in flipping cars, but in life as well.